Have you ever wondered what magic happens when you type a website address into your browser and hit enter? How does your computer know exactly where to find YouTube, Google, or your favorite online store out of billions of devices connected to the internet? It's not magic. It's an incredible system called the domain name system. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll understand the secret language of the internet. And hey, if you love learning how the digital world works, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive. Alright, let's start with the basics. Every single device connected to the internet, whether it's a massive server hosting a website or your very own smartphone, has a unique address. This is called an IP address, which stands for Internet Protocol Address. Think of it like a specific street address for a house. For example, an IP address might look something like this: 172.217.14.228. Now, could you imagine having to memorize a long string of numbers for every website you want to visit? Me neither. It would be a total nightmare. This is exactly where domain names come to the rescue. A domain name, like YouTube.com, is essentially a human-friendly nickname for that complicated IP address. It's so much easier to remember Google.com than a random sequence of numbers, right? So, domain names are for us humans, while IP addresses are for the computers. The big question is, how does your browser translate the easy-to-remember domain name into the computer-friendly IP address it needs to find the website? This is the job of the domain name system, or DNS. You can think of DNS as the internet's giant global phone book. When you type youtube.com into your browser, your computer doesn't instantly know where to go. Instead, it starts a process called a DNS lookup. First, your computer sends a request to a special server called a DNS resolver. Your internet service provider, or ISP, the company you pay for internet access, usually provides this resolver automatically. Think of this resolver as a helpful librarian who knows how to find the information you need. The resolver's first stop is the root servers. There are only 13 sets of these root servers spread across the globe, and they are the ultimate authority. They don't know the exact IP address for youtube.com, but they know who to ask next. They look at the last part of the domain, the .com part, which is called a top-level domain, or TLD. The root server then points your resolver to the TLD name server responsible for all .com domains. Now your resolver contacts the .com TLD server. This server is like a specialized directory for just .com addresses. It still doesn't have the final IP address, but it knows who manages the specific youtube.com domain. It directs your resolver to what's called the authoritative name server for youtube.com. This server is the final, definitive source of information for that specific domain. Finally, your resolver queries the authoritative name server for youtube.com. This server looks at its records, finds the corresponding IP address, that string of numbers we talked about, and sends it back to your resolver. Your resolver then passes this IP address back to your web browser. Phew! It sounds like a long journey, right? A trip around the world talking to different servers. But here's the amazing part. This entire process usually happens in just a few milliseconds, faster than the blink of an eye. To make things even faster for your next visit, your computer and the DNS resolver use something called caching. They temporarily store the IP address they just found. So the next time you want to go to YouTube.com, your computer can just check its cache, find the IP address instantly, and skip that whole lookup process. It's like keeping that phone number on a sticky note right by your phone so you don't have to look it up in the phone book every single time. So, to recap, you type in a simple domain name. Your computer asks a DNS resolver to find its IP address. The resolver queries a chain of servers from root to TLD to the authoritative name server to find the correct IP address. That address is sent back to your browser, and voila, the website loads on your screen. It's an elegant, incredibly efficient, and distributed system that makes the entire internet usable for all of us. Without domain names and the DNS, the internet as we know it simply wouldn't exist. We'd all be carrying around notebooks filled with IP addresses. I hope this has demystified one of the core pillars of the internet for you. It's a fascinating system that works silently in the background every time we go online. What other internet mysteries would you like us to uncover? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell to stay curious with us. See you in the next one.